Conquering Mega Eagle. Alright folks, how you doing? Okay, so we're going to do a bit of a knife R&D, yeah? So I like my Opinels. I always normally carry one around, like there's always one in my toolbox if I'm going places and that. This one's a little bit banged and bruised accordingly, because it ends up getting used for scraping bits of dead gasket off airplane engines and whatever else I need to use a knife for when I'm out and about. Either way, I very much like the blade design, and the thing about the Opinel is it's got a very fine flat grind on it. Yeah. So the thing I don't like about it is it's a folder. Yeah. I know there's people out there like Vinny, and you love your folders and that. No, it's great. Me, I just don't like them. But I do like the Opinel, so I made a Puko. I don't know if you can call it Puko. I think it's a Puko, whatever. People are calling anything a Puko these days, aren't they? And this is this is not quite as close as I could get to the Opinel grind, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close. There's ever such a slightly steeper angle. Right, not as fine as the Opinel, but ever so slightly. So it's still the beautiful thing about the carbon Opinel is it's so easy to put an edge on it. Even if you take it a bit far before you hone it. I normally as all these knives live in the workshop and in the toolbox. Whenever I've got the sander sat on the bench, I just you can just with a reasonably fine pad on it, I just touch them up on the sander, not with it powered up, just as a way of holding the sanding disc. But that's just what it's about, isn't it? I quite like sandpaper for honing my blades. It's good. Yeah, and I made another one. I don't think I did a video on that. That was just to see if I could get this blade a little bit pointier, and no, that's pushing it too far. Same angle, but just a little bit of a pokier blade, because it comes in handy sometimes. Around the shed or the workshop or out and about, whatever. Anyway, I do quite like smaller blades. Nimbleness in the hand, but I appreciate people do different things with knives. I'm not saying anyone else is wrong. Either way, someone seen my Puko and wanted me to make their knife, but bigger, because their needs are for a bigger knife and they want it in stainless. Before I jump into that, I wanted to play around making a few knives in tool steel first. And I always like to keep templates of the blades that I've made, so if I want to go back and make slight alterations or anything like that. I think you can see a few on the wall behind me actually. These are the mini parangs, and behind the metal templates for the parangs again there, and there's the Puko template there. And so what? We're fogging up really badly now, aren't we? So I'm going to make 3 blades. He's asked for a head and tang knife like the Puko, so we'll do one ever so slightly longer, and one same length as this one but deeper, and then what I think, because really personally, my personal opinion is once you get above sort of 1/8 of an inch on the spine, you've got a blade that you can put some force on, and in that case you ought to have a full tang. So we'll make all 3 of these up and see how they feel and look afterwards. Yeah, all right. We're not going for a beauty contest with these. These are just prototypes, but you'll get value for money, because there'll be 3 blades in one video.
reporters. I think the case has been made.
Meanwhile, say they were effectively told to leave because they heard a woman shout inside the absentee ballot counting room for workers to leave and not return until the next morning. So somebody's lying here, right? Somebody's lying here. Poll observers, the people who were actually the ones who were told to leave allegedly, say they were effectively told to leave because they heard a woman shout inside.
Right then, folks, we've got the three blades roughed out, yep, and they're ready for heat treat. But what I like to do before a heat treat, not on the full tang, we'll have to drill this one for a heat treat. But the rat's tail or hidden tang knives, because I like getting the tang red hot and jamming the wooden handle over the top of it to get a nice fit. It's best to do that before the heat treat. So I've got the brass guards. They're fitted up, but they're not shaped yet. And we've done both of them. Yep. We've got a bits of peely for the larger of the two hidden tang knives, and a bit of black walnut for the smaller. This is like right off the edge of the plank, so it's sort of that nice purple colour, you know. So it's got the white wood. I had to trim the white wood off because I don't really like it. You know, you see that's the That's the edge of the tree, basically. The outer growth rings, and then it gets darker as it gets towards the centre, and you get the heavier timber. So yeah, let me put these the right way around so you know what I'm on about. Is there a right way around? I don't even know what's right anymore. Hey? What have I done? What have I done? Oh, I'm really confused. I mean, it should be that way around. You can see it's light here, and it gets darker. But obviously, these aren't matched up. I've cut them in a weird way, and I don't understand what I've done now. So, what have I done? Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anyway. It really doesn't matter. But yeah, we're losing that bit, and we'll just go with the darker timber where it's sort of pinky purple through to the darker timber at the bottom. Yeah, it'll be nice. It'll be all right anyway.
Hey, you can't do that. So thanks for coming to Pittsburgh. Yeah, you did. Like they murdered someone. You're like, hey, you gotta do that thing. No, it's not like that, brother. You gotta do that thing. You know. Yeah, I really started to use tequila. There's the half the cops there.
Okay, I'm having a little bit of trouble getting the tang hot enough with the gas blowtorch. I figured, like, because I've been rummaging around in my box of antique blowtorches recently, and Benedict White gave me a very, very disapproving comment when I told him, like, you know, to me they're basically antiques that I'd like to polish up and sit on a shelf somewhere. You know, he uses his still, you see. So we've got to keep Benedict happy, haven't we? Eh? We're going to try this. This is the smallest one I've ever seen. It's a little sievert, or sievert. I don't know how you say it. They make camping stoves as well. Sievert. I expect they're Swedish or Finnish or something. Either way, this one runs on petrol or benzene or whatever you want to call it. We'll try and fire her up. We're gonna have that open for now. Yeah, I don't actually think this will have enough heat in it, but I'm just liking the idea of firing it up and seeing how it compares to the gas one. Okay, so valve open. Yeah, valve's open at the minute. What we got to do? God, I can't remember what I'm doing with this. Take that off there for starters. Valve open. Shut that up. Shut that. We've got to put a little bit of heat in the tank first with our hands, and then when we open the valve, the petrol should come up, and then we'll shut the valve off again when we've got enough petrol in the little dish, and then we can light it, and it will heat itself up, and you know, these ones are a lot quicker to fire up than the paraffin torches, but they've got nowhere near as much power in them. We've got a lighter here. Look, that's handy, isn't it? No, obviously I haven't got enough out of there. Come on. Come on. Well, that was a lot of fun. I like those old torches. I'm gonna try and use them more often because it's you know, despite being complete and utter antiques and a bit of a bastard to get going, they're quite fun, aren't they? I've kind of ballsed up with this. What I should have done, it's nice and square, like to the blade, but it's gone in at a bit of an angle. My tang isn't like, my tang doesn't share the same axis as the blade. It's you know, kind of pointing off towards the top as it happens. So because I cut this bit of wood to size first, that was a mistake. What I should have done is left it a bit wider. So I'm just gonna throw this away now after all that. But at least we've got a torch that'll do the job when we get another bit of wood. Okay, so we did okay with the little monitor. This is the like the smallest paraffin one that I've got, you know. Hasn't even got a throttle knob on it. I suppose you just regulate it by letting a bit of air out of it when it gets a bit hot. Still not quite got down to the bottom of this first knife, so rather than dick around with this any longer because I just ran out of fuel, I figured we'll get another one going. This next one again, I've never fired it up. I just think it's the most beautiful blowtorch I've ever seen. I think this is Canadian. It's made by a company called Butler. Yeah. So yeah, I just like the way it looks. It's kind of a cross between a church bell and a tankard, and a steampunk ray gun. Pew, pew. I love it. So you can see this one. I mean, this is what they were used for, the bigger ones, for heating up irons, soldering irons. So you'd have you know, a steel shaft with a big copper head on it, and you got a notch in this. I think we're missing a bit of a cowl on this one, so hopefully it still works. I think it should work. Don't see any reason why not. This is actually cast iron on this one. It's the only one I've got with sort of cast iron hot end. I think the big one you saw in my kerosene experiments had a steel tank, which is a bit of a nuisance because I mean, that one's galvanised or hot dipped or something. That's an old wartime torch, that one, and that it fills up with crust. So every time I use it, I end up having to spill the tank out, and you know, and then the nozzle blocks. Whereas I mean, it didn't actually block when I was trying to melt copper with it. But yeah. Anyway, let's try and fire this one up. I don't know what sort of chances we've got of getting this going. Let's have a look at it. Yeah, a bit sketchy with this one. The whole pump line's out, so I haven't actually got any plungers. I've got about, you know, well over a dozen of these blow lamps, and you know, all the British ones use a similar size pump, and all the Primus and Max Sievert ones use a similar pump, so I could switch them around. But this one's the only Butler that I've got, and the pump is also the filler, so I can't really swap this with anything else, and it's stuck in there. But I'm really determined to get it out now. I don't want to pull it because sometimes they're only screwed or riveted little brass threads on the end, so if I pull it I think I'll damage it. So we'll have to sit it in some oil for a minute or two and see what happens. I've only ever come into contact with a couple of Canadian designed or manufactured products, or as far as I know. Well, they, you know, both been aircraft. I suppose the Chipmunk I've spent a bit of time working on, the Havilland Canada Chipmunk, designed by them but made in Canada and the UK. I think it's the only aircraft that they designed that was manufactured here, and the Beaver as well. Spent a bit of time with the Beaver, and what always struck me was, you know, there's obviously a British influence. You know, things are slightly over engineered, perhaps not in a bad way. And perhaps the British idea of over engineering stuff isn't the same as the American idea of over engineering stuff. I was shown by the landlord of the airfield I used to work at a Chevy axle and a Rolls Royce axle side by side, you know, rear axle, driven axle, and you know, the Rolls Royce axle had like 20 bolts on one side holding the holding you know, the halves of the axle on. And the American one was, you know, put together with welds, or and just had 6 bolts holding the pan on the back, isn't it? And you know, it's a reason why Chevy made millions of cars in a year, and perhaps Rolls Royce made a few hundred. But yeah, like this blowtorch is magnificent, completely over the top and unnecessarily complicated, but rugged in a Canadian bush way, I suppose, like the aeroplanes. It's always a definite you know, the genealogy of the country, you know, where something was made always comes through in the finished product, or it used to. I think you see it more in old stuff, and now this like globo homo world we live in, like everything seems to be churned out the same, because you know, there'll be one country that makes a particular component, and you'll find that fitted on everything. You know, every car will have a Bosch ignition system or Denso system. You know, whereas back in the olden days, there'd be, you know, it'd be kept within a nation. So anything from the UK would have a Lucas system perhaps, and anything from France would have a Jaeger system, or you know. Italians always had Cervello or whatever it is. I've seen them on my old chainsaws actually. Yeah, very interesting. Either way, I've got to make a new seal up for this. Unlike all the other blowtorches that operate pretty much like a bicycle pump, they just have a sort of a leather washer that looks like that, so that air can get past it on the pull stroke. This one's a bit different. It's got actually shuttles on the shaft a little bit, and we've got cutouts at the bottom to let air through when this is lifted, but then it would seal up when it's forced against the shaft. So it should be, you know, I might even get away with a square cut tap washer, maybe. We'll see. Whole new levels of getting carried away with stuff, yeah. So what I've done for a plunger seal on this blowtorch is take a blank rubber grommet or hole cap, whatever you want to call it, and stuck it on a bolt and turned it down a little bit. I think this will work, chaps. It's made something that appears very similar to the original rubber seal. The only thing is, I don't know what these are made out of. These plungers. These grommets rather. I did get one a little bit hot just now and it melted, so it's it's probably PVC or something, which will probably be okay with the kerosene for a little while, but I don't suppose this will last a long time. Look at that, that's a proper pucker little job, eh? Let's try it, see what happens. It works, lads. Okay, alright, let's fill this thing up with Kero and see what happens. Yeah, this one's taking a little while to warm up because there's such a huge bulk of metal at the front, at the hot end, I suppose. We're getting there though. We're getting there. It's a strange design. This pump handle is so bloody close. All the other ones, the pump handle is angled. The pump handle's angled well and truly outboard, so you can still pump it when there's all this flame around and the handle doesn't melt. But I really feel like, you know, prolonged use, that handle's going to melt off. Obviously not. Or maybe, I don't know. Yeah, we're nearly there. Nearly there. Oh, that's a beast! It's a beast! Okay folks, we've got the 3 hidden tang blades, the two 2 hidden tang. Look at those lovely handles. Yeah, these are ready for heat treat now. I haven't got to do anything more with these. I can heat treat them, then bond them to these, and I'll shape the handles with it all glued up. Yeah, it's easy that way. And this is the full tang blade. I've drilled a couple of holes, that 6mm, 6mm, and then 7mm. We'll have a bit of pipe going through this one, and solid rivets here, bits of brass, lovely brass. And I've just outlined there what the sort of contour I want the handle to follow. Whoop. Oh, wrong way. No, still the wrong way. Anyway, we're still ever so slightly. You really want the balance just at the start of the handle. It makes the knife feel nicer in your hand. And that I do try and get it there. It's a bit more difficult with the hidden tang blades, but if I can't get them to balance, I'll put some lead shot down the back of them before I put the handle on. Yeah. This, on the other hand, I think it's going to be absolutely spot on once we get the brass rivets and the handle on there. We're just a little bit too far forwards at the minute, but yeah, like I say, brass handle and there's scales on the side, and it's going to balance up. So that's why I'm not drilling any sort of lightning holes in the back or anything like that. If it was a much shorter blade, we'd have to drill the handle out a bit more to bring the CRG around about the right place. It does make a huge difference if you've got something with a really heavy handle and light blade. It just doesn't feel alive. And my days, got Das virus in it. No, I haven't. Bastards. I haven't got a clue what I was saying now. Anyway, we're going to try and heat treat them. I figured we'd use the blowtorches again, just for the sake of it, really. Saves firing the forge up. Or anything else. It'll be fun. We need a few more though. I think we need a whole row of antique blowtorches to get these red hot. Let's start firing them up.
Ask ourselves, what is most important? In what direction should we strive? We make small gestures for Mother Nature. Gestures that yield the greatest efficiency for the driver.
While how the Optimax's standards was also a very well-funded effort that did not turn out well. And since we knew we needed to get pretty good with such enclosed haptech technology to do any serious moon or Mars bases, it added to the impression
Okay, so it didn't go quite to plan with the small blow torches, but we managed with the big one there. They're all quenched. Yeah, this is the thing about O1 tool steel, you know, it's just such a delightfully easy material to work with. The ranges are so broad for the quenching and tempering. Like basically with the quench, I always do a bright cherry, not like white hot or anything like that. You don't have to go that high, but what? Yeah, sort of bright cherry, and then I know oil cooks off around about 200. So normally on the forge, I just get the blade and get it close enough to the forge. I'll get all my blades if I'm doing more than one. You know, so they're all still dripping with oil, used engine oil, and then get them close enough to the forge that I can see the oil's cooking off. You know, and if it's cooking off fast, it means it's well above 200 degrees C. If it's just starting to cook off, it means it's round about, like, you know, sort of 180 or something like that. So yeah, these will be fine here now. I don't know how much heat's going to attain. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to flip those bricks over, so it's sort of we'll use these, you know, sort of maintains the heat a little while longer, you know. I took them above 200 obviously, like, because I had the torch right at them, and that was after the oil cooked off, but you know, these will be good, yeah, highly scientific. And the thing is, I've agreed to do some on a little stainless knife, and the fumes in here at the minute are just mental. It looks like I've been up to all sorts of mischief. I haven't even had a beer today. Yeah, what? Yeah, you don't believe me, do you? Slacks. What am I on about? Anyway, yeah, and the stainless is a different ball game. I've been messing around with that, trying to get sort of repeatable results with doing things by eye, or doing things using other pieces of steel as an indicator and that, and it's yeah, you really got to be quite precise with that stainless that I've got anyway. I'm using 440C. I believe that's going to be the easiest. It's air hardening, so it doesn't even need a quench, but it still needs tempering after it's had its air hardening. So I've got a digital thermometer. I had a digital thermometer, but it only goes up to like 600, which is pretty useless really when you're working with steel. You need something over 1,000 really, don't you? Yeah, I mean, I'll do a little video on that. Probably just a little video of me messing around with the stainless, finding my feet, I suppose. Anyway, these blades are cooking off. I'm going to go and get some fresh air.
In 1996 in recognition for his international science data management activities. He also recently received the NASA Exceptional Achievement Medal for the New Horizons flyby of the Pluto system.
Jim Green, welcome to the program.
Well, thank you very much. It's great to be here.
Now, Jim, it is one of the most exciting periods in my lifetime for NASA right now.
Okay, so for the two hidden tang knives, they've got the handles on. The glue's just going off on them somewhere warm and out of the way. For the full tang blades, I've got these really sexy bits of burl. Look at that, eh? Look at the burl on that. He's just as pippy as chuff. Have you ever seen anything so pippy in your life? It's a nice bit of tip. I don't actually know what it is. It just said burl. It's like they're only a £5. Place called Moonraker Knives. They're not on eBay or anything like that. I just found their website. I was looking for stuff. Yeah, so we're gonna stick these on. They're not even polished at the minute. Like they're still a pretty rough saw, and I'll have to flatten off one side, and we'll match them up to the holes here. I have to put the contour. I don't want these scales coming up to the guard. We'll just put a curved handle, the curved scales at the end there, and then they'll run the full length to the back. So that curve that we won't be able to get onto once the scales are bonded to the knife, we'll make that first, and then bond the scales on. And oh god, went away. Fucking cold. And then we'll shape the rest of it once it's all bonded up. Seems like a good idea. So I'm starting the handle on this deeper hidden tang blade. I made both of these bolsters sort of teardrop shaped. It's beautiful on the other one. You know, obviously it's a much shallower blade. This handle's come out absolutely lovely. You know, really fits in the hand nicely. I don't often carry a big knife like this. This isn't even a big knife, is it? But I like a really small blade at the minute. I'm just favouring really small blades. But you know, I'm going to try and spend a bit of time with this. I really like the handle there. This one, again, I tried using a teardrop shape. Just, you know, liking the style of them at the minute. However, because it's a lot deeper, it kind of looks like some sort of Aztec / Egyptian artifact that you might have found in a tomb. It was my intention to angle this back, but I'm trying to decide whether I like it or not. And either way, I'm just going to play with it until I see where it's going. And you know, whatever. It's just that's all this is about anyway. Was having a play about with some blades. The most important thing is the sort of ratios of the blade itself, not really the handle. But you never know, we might start a new craze, lads, eh? Like ancient Egyptian commando style-y, that sort of thing. Or an Inca Renaissance.
The rest of the negotiations, what we know is that the independent never told them, really generally,
Right folks, okay, so we're just about done on these 3 blades. I think having a bit of practice is good every now and again. I think I need some more. This one's turned out really nice. I'm not sure what sort of knife you'd call it. I wasn't, you know, trying to get them. If I'd wanted to polish them up, I would have done so before I put the scales on. This one I'm regretting not having polished it a bit. It's a nice knife with the scales. It's beautiful, beautiful. Them scales, I like it. I might get some more like that just to play around with. Blades not something I would make for myself. Yeah, like this isn't something I'd find useful around the workshop. And you know, if I go out and about, I'd like I say, I generally like to take something a lot bigger and a lot smaller. You know what I mean? Like you know, an axe or something. And not that I go out that often these days, but this one, I don't know what to say about it. I like the guard. Don't like the blade. Doesn't turn if you're trying to do things with bits of timber. You know, it's got that real Egyptian vibe from it. You know, whatever. It was fun. It's actually the one I made the least fuck ups on as well, which is the funny thing, you know, like with the ricasso and that, like, and the other one that I really butchered this just as I was finishing up with the grinder, and you know, I had a little bit of a slip there at the ricasso, but having said that, I'm, you know, really liking the handle on this, and the blades like, you know, as big as I'd like. I'm not liking the 15-degree angle on the fairly thick steel. I think I should have gone less than that. 15 degrees is sort of the real upper limit as far as steepness is concerned for, you know, pocket knives and whatnot. And I was just, you know, we're just having a play about here, aren't we? It's nothing serious, no harm done. Which is why I didn't, you know, I didn't go out of my way to make these particularly beautiful. Perhaps it was a bit of a waste putting those burl scales on the whatever knife this is. I don't know. I don't really care. It's only a £5. Obviously, the others didn't cost much. Just what was lying around. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I like a thick bit of steel's, I think, okay when you've got a full tang, you know, and a slightly longer blade. But you know, for something short, I'd personally much prefer a lot thinner steel than this, sort of half the thickness of this, like these things that I made. I mean, that's a little blade. For me, that's just the perfect blade, you know. I like these, but yeah, you can see the difference in thickness there, and that just makes it infinitely easier, not just when I'm making the knife, but when you're caring for the knife afterwards. Yeah, yeah. I don't know what other people think the determining factor should be as far as blade thickness is concerned. Like, obviously, if you're out in the woods and you're gonna batten the chuff out of your knife, you want a thick bit of steel, don't you? And full tang. That all makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, it'd be much nicer if you just took an axe. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. It's all different. We all want different things out of our blades, don't we? See, this has got a bit of weight to it. Like, you know, there's you can sort of justify having something a bit chunky if it's heavy enough to swing. That's my view anyway. Because it's more likely that you're gonna fuck it up, isn't it, I suppose? Ooh. Yeah, a knife like that, that'll easily point a stick, you know, which is quite a useful thing to be able to do with a knife, and it saves swinging an axe about, I suppose, and risking burying an axe into your shin, which is never a good thing when you're out about, or half hacking off your finger, which, you know, I've got personal experience with. Going for a couple of tendons and the leg bone, not the leg bone, the finger bone. Actually missed the bone. It went straight in the joint. That was a big parang. Really sharp parang. I had that thing. Spent ages sharpening it because, you know, we're getting out to Norway, isn't it? God bless the Norwegian medical staff is all I can say. Thank you very much, chaps and chapesses. Those lady ambulance drivers. Anywho's, so what are we saying here? Yeah, it's good to get some practice in, isn't it? I think I might make a few more blades in the next month or two. It'd be nice to be able to make something pretty without the slip ups. Yeah, so I might get some more scales and. You know, just assorted different scales and have a play around with a few more shapes. I think I'm done with a 15-degree angle though, definitely. So this was a useful exercise insofar as I've decided I don't like 15 degrees. It'd be nice to sort of really find a definitive length where 5mm steel is appropriate, because I think it's longer than this, you know. But this is I wish I'd, you know, this one would be a lovely blade if I'd done it in the narrower steel. But again, this one I'm very happy with how the handle turned out. This handle's absolutely lovely in my hand. Really nice shape, because the other smaller sort of Pucco blades I made the handle a lot shorter because the blade was so short, and they kind of forget it just looks silly if you had a sort of 2.5-3 inch blade with a great big handle like this. You've got to make the handle smaller, haven't you? But it doesn't fit in my big hand so much, so I quite like this handle. I like a chunky handle. It's got to fill your hand up, isn't it? Yeah, but like I say, not liking the blade angle. I might try and do something similar to that in the thicker steel, and just go over a much finer blade angle, just to have a play around. Try a couple of other things. I'll do another 3-knife special video, just as far as, you know, just for me really, for practice and that, and you know, throw these around a bit and see what I think. See if there is any merit in using for me for using the thicker steel in the shed with this steep angle. That one, I don't know. Like I say, it's too steep an angle. You know, this is gonna turn into a probably a very nice chopping knife, I suppose. I don't really know what else that 15-degree angle is good for. It's got an edge on it now, you know. Doesn't skate off the fingernail. It's always a nice way to, you know. Yeah, hope you enjoyed that, folks. A bit exciting with the blowtorches and that, wasn't it? Bit of practice for me, and what, like, I'll get back on with the crane now. I promised you a petrol disc cutter knife. I'll probably do a machete or something with that, just because it kind of lends itself to doing something quite big, doesn't it? Maybe a parang, whatever. Maybe throw a bit of forging in with that as well, just to make it decent. I do want a really big parang. You know, next time I chop something off, you know, let's make it the whole hand, not a finger, eh? So maybe a big 2 foot parang or something like that, eh? With the disc cutter, and then hopefully do a few more of these. But that will be interspersed amongst crane video and whole videos, because we need to get on with the underground bunker, isn't it? Yeah. All right, take it easy, folks. I'll see you all later. Bye bye.